It's Night of the Podcast.
Welcome, horror fiends, to Night of the Podcast, a one-man horror show where I, Brian, talk to you about all things spooky, creepy, horror, and Halloween-related. Today I'm going to be talking about the 1980 film Christmas Evil, but before I get to that, let's just talk about Thanksgiving real fast. You may have noticed that I didn't post an episode on Black Friday, and that's because I was recovering from a food coma. I didn't overstuff myself, but I mean, come on, it's a lot of carbs and those are filling and they make you tired. So it made me lazier than I already am, and I apologize for that. But when it comes to Thanksgiving, there's not really a lot of good Thanksgiving horror movies. You have Blood Rage, which is okay at best, and you have Thanksgiving, which is a fun movie, but it's really not that good of an actual flick. And then right after that, it's just Christmas everything. People just tend to look past Thanksgiving. And, it's like a couple days after Thanksgiving, you're getting hit in the face with Santa's candy cane, and he's just shoving it down your throat. And that even happens all the way back in October. And it's a little aggravating because Thanksgiving is a good holiday, not a good meaning behind that holiday by any means whatsoever, but it is a nice time with family. Now back to actual horror talk. So I watched the movie Christmas Evil, and I started this movie, and I thought to myself, I know I've seen Christmas Evil before. Turns out I had not. About 5 to 10 minutes into the movie, I realized that I hadn't seen Christmas Evil before. And you may be asking yourself, well, what is Christmas Evil even about since you started talking about it, Brian? Christmas Evil is about this kid that he believes in Santa Claus, and he sees his mom getting her leg rubbed by Santa Claus downstairs near the Christmas tree. And his brother tells him that it's his dad, but he refuses to believe it. And since then, he's traumatized by this scene of his mom getting her leg rubbed by Santa Claus. I'm sure they had sex, and maybe he saw that, and maybe that's all implied in this scene, but it doesn't actually happen. So you're led to believe that this man saw his mom, yet again, getting her leg and her inner thigh. She was kind of scantily clad, not really, in a red robe and some ugly lingerie? Yeah, we'll use ugly lingerie. And Santa's just down there, I love your legs so much. Let me just tell you the ways. And basically, the kid sees it and loses his mind. Years later, he's tormented by this memory, and he works in a toy factory of all places and wants to bring joy to all the little kids in his community and maybe around the world. Who knows? And from there, he goes on, he kind of a killing spree later towards the end of the movie. I'm not really giving anything away, but, he loses his shit. But the guy who is Santa Claus and had this traumatizing event, you do feel a little bad for him because you can see that he just truly wants to be a good guy and that he really does care about bringing joy to all the girls and boys. Now, he is incredibly crazy. Don't get me wrong. He's looking at kids through their windows in the beginning of the film, and he has naughty and nice books because Santa caressing his mom's leg did this to him. That's like the gist of the movie, and it's overall it's a good one. It was enjoyable, a little ridiculous and over the top at times. There's a scene at a church where there's an axe involved. I won't go into it too much. It's not the most brutal film by any means that you've ever seen. Being released in 1980, it's relatively tame. You have movies like The Texas Chainsaw and The Exorcist, which were released, prior to this one coming out, and those are way more intense than anything that this brings. Though Texas Chainsaw isn't gory either. This one doesn't have a lot of blood. There is some blood in it. There's also a knife fight scene, which was it was kind of laughable, but anywho. Oh, all in all, Christmas Evil is an enjoyable movie. It's currently on Shudder, so if you have Amazon Prime, go ahead and check this one out. It is definitely worth a watch during the holiday season, and if you're a fan of it, right now on Cavity Colors, they have a Buy or Die Christmas Evil shirt, which is an awesome design. They do phenomenal work there over at Cavity Colors. So if you like the movie, check out Cavity Colors and pick up that shirt because it is super freaking rad. When it comes down to it, I'm going to give Christmas Evil 6 out of 10 plastic nutcracker figure army guys, whatever the hell they are. If you see the movie, which you should watch it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Horrible rating system. I apologize for that one. But thank you everyone for tuning in. I really appreciate you watching and listening. If you don't mind, just go ahead and subscribe to the podcast. You can always email me at nightofthepodcast@gmail.com, like me on Facebook at Night of the Podcast, and you can follow me, Brian, on the Instagram at xxhalloweenxx. Thank you again for listening and watching, everyone, and until next time, good night, good fright, be careful what lurks when you turn out the lights.